Vermont Viewpoint is a public affairs program produced and funded by WDEV and the Radio Vermont Group. We welcome listener feedback. Email your comments to vtviewpoint@radiovermont.com.
Good morning. This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV. I'm Rick Zingari. So here we go, the 12th and final stop on the WDEV 90th anniversary tour. We started back in early December at Harry's Hardware and Bar in Cabot. It's taken me over 6.5 months to travel about 10.5 miles up the road to the final spot on the tour, the Scale House in Hardwick, where I'm broadcasting live this morning. Before we start this morning, I do want to thank all the wonderful businesses and organizations that have hosted us on average about every other week since early December. And thanks to Stephen Tanzi of WDEV, who has been with me at about every stop. And about 4 or 5 times when guests fail to show up running late, he has been the backup guest but has yet to be on the show. Now it's time to get the Hardwick show started with the folks from here at the Scale House. We've got Michael Walbridge with us. Michael, welcome to Vermont Viewpoint.
It's nice to be here.
And thanks for having us here this morning. And we also have Sky Plocic. Sky, it's great to have you as well.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Michael, give us a little history of the Scale House and when you took over running it.
The Scale House has been an operating spot for about 4 years. The space itself has been a really challenge to maintain for several restaurants before, and even while it's been the Scale House. I took it over in August, and we've been kind of resurfacing it, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
And things seem to be going in the right direction. You know, we're a steak and seafood bistro-style restaurant, 72 seats, full bar service, and a lot of local stuff.
Yeah, beautiful space, conveniently located right on Main Street here in Hardwick. Sky, what do you want people coming into the restaurant to experience while they're here?
We've really made it our goal, me and Michael, really trying to gear it towards more customer experience versus turnover and, how many guests we're doing per night. So we want to try to make sure, that the customers are getting enough attention and that we have that time to have that conversation with customers and form that connection so that we build, the regular customers that will come back again.
So that means I can stay here the full 2 hours. You're not going to rush me out at 10:15. Say that your time's up, Rick. Okay, good. And Michael, what do you think having the Scale House here in town adds to Hardwick, both to residents and to visitors?
Well, for residents, there's plenty of job opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
We'd love to see some young people come in that, maybe don't have any experience that would like to learn how to do stuff. You only have to be 18 to be a bartender in the state of Vermont. So it's one of those things where the high school kid that doesn't want to go to college or, the military or whatever they may or may not want to do could still have a decent job opportunity to make a decent wage. And as far as for tourists, we're a little bit different style of a restaurant than the other places in town. We have 2 pizza shops, we have the coffee shop, we've got 2 breakfast spots in town.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're fairly well diversified in the food category. And one of the things that we found recently is that people are driving from Littleton and Stowe to meet up for their first date or trying to get out of Stowe because it's too condensed. It's too populated for people to want to come out and have a more casual dinner and be able to hang out for 3 hours, because I do feel like they're getting kicked out in an hour and a half for dinner service.
Speaking of food, which is really my main motivation in life, tempt us with something on the menu.
We do a lot of fresh seafood. The fish and chips and the fisherman's platter are definitely the most popular. Through the winter, we had seafood Newburg, which are discontinued for the summer, but we're going to be adding crab stuffed shrimp, crab stuffed flounder, and then we're also going to be doing raw shellfish after the 4th of July.
Mm.
So we're the meatloaf is another kind of a staple for a signature dish, and that's we call it Grandma Housewell's meatloaf, and it's actually the mother of my children's recipe. And so we don't tell her that, but that's a true story. So
we're giving her a nod now. Sky, one thing I've noticed is that you have a nicely curated beer list. Tell us about how you put that together, some of the selections that you currently are enjoying here at the Scale House.
So I've kind of just tried to gear it towards really what I've noticed people are asking for and interested in. We used to have a pretty different beer list, but I've tried to, just pay attention and really look at, the catalogs and things from distributors and see what options are out there and try to get in, different things that you might not see everywhere.
There are 27 different selections up on that board right now. I'll not go home thirsty on any time I stroll in here. That's fabulous. And Michael, you're opening up special today, so what can people enjoy while they come in this morning?
So today we have some croissants provided by Front Seat Coffee while they last. We just did a little bit of a barter. And so that was just to give us time to open our own kitchen up, but we'll be opening our kitchen up by 9:30, and we'll be here till 2 o'clock today. The rest of the week we do Wednesday through Friday is 4 to 9 o'clock, and then Saturday is 3 to 9 o'clock. Sunday is noon to 7 o'clock. After 4th of July, we'll be going to 9:30 most nights, and we're trying to establish a later bar crowd in the evening as well and keep the bar open till 11 o'clock. Positive Pie kind of has Friday and Saturday locked down, but that gives us a chance to get out as well. So
nice. And Sky, you'll be opening in a few minutes. What can people enjoy when they come in this morning from behind the bar?
Pretty much anything. We're doing like mimosas, Bloody Marys. We've got a cocktail list where we've got some cool things on there, and obviously all of our different beers and our wine selection.
Now, the staff back at the station will want to make sure that you do not serve me anything until 11 o'clock. You got that?
Okay.
All right.
Noted.
All right. Well done. And Michael, like your opening special today, what's on the lunch menu that someone will really enjoy when they come in?
So on the lunch menu, for some of the smaller plates that we do a lot of are the calamari. We have a blueberry venison sausage that we serve with a cheese fondue. And the lobster roll is another one that seems to be a driving force. We have people come from Morrisville and get them for takeout, and we limit our takeout on that. And not just for that, it's mainly, again, going back to the guest experience. When the kitchen's busy or the servers and bartenders are busy, we will tell people that we can't do takeout right now.
Wow.
And that's really a staffing thing, and it's also a guest experience issue. And if I sell you a fish and chips and I put it in a clamshell and it goes out the door, by the time you drive 18 minutes with it, it's going to be a little soggy. Yeah. And then I'm getting a phone call anyway.
You don't want that kind of phone call. I had a friend come up the other day to have the lobster roll for lunch and gave it 2 thumbs up. Absolutely loved it. So,
awesome. Did he have it hot or cold? Because we serve them both.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know which way.
We offer it both because people come in all the time and they're like, they either want it Southern style or they want it Maine style.
Yeah.
And it's one of those. So we do it with a mayo base with just a little bit of celery, or we do it with hot butter and a side of butter.
Yeah. I've still tried to figure out which one I love more. They're both so wonderful. All right, Sky, don't hold back. Share a cocktail that you create that has been very popular with Scale House patrons.
So one thing that I've been running as specials that I really like to do and people seem to really like is a key lime pie martini. So I do like a graham cracker rim on that, and it's pretty simple, lime juice and vanilla vodka and cream, and it tastes just like key lime pie, and it's definitely a really good seller.
I used to live in Miami, and so I was close to the Keys, where the key limes come from, and so remember, you got word from headquarters, I'm not to be served before 11 o'clock. And Michael, you kind of alluded to this. You mentioned that you do have as many local ingredients as possible. I believe you work with local farmers so to source the restaurant. Tell us about some of them.
So for the most part, in the fall, we were doing a bread pudding that was entirely sourced from Bert's Orchard in Cabot. And we were using their cider donuts for the bread. And, of course, their apples. The only thing that wasn't theirs was the eggs and the dairy. And then we do some business with Lilygate Farm for eggs. And then for our beef, mostly the ground beef, we do with North Hardwick Farms. And those are primary local vendors. We do a lot of business with the co-op, which it's nice to see they have a bigger space now.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to get a little bit more exercise when I need a head of celery. So
how far have they moved from the location?
Just down around the corner to the old Halls Market.
Yeah, you can make it.
Yeah,
I think. You seem to be a pretty healthy guy.
Yeah, no, I could probably get there. Every time they asked me if I was going to keep doing business with them, I was like, well, I'll just get a little more exercise. So.
There you go. Well done. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're at the Scale House in Hardwick this morning, and they're about to open their doors. Well, they'll be open till 2 today. Michael Walbridge and Sky Plocic will join me just before 11 to wrap up the show. So I want to thank you both for being on and get this kicked off, our Hardwick show this morning.
Absolutely. We're happy to have you.
Thank you, Rick.
Sure. We're going to take a break and then be back to meet Hardwick's town manager. This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV.
If you suffer from joint pain from arthritis or an injury, you know the traditional treatments, pain meds and steroids, and then surgery, right? Now there's a better way from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints, pain meds are addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022, and those old ways are out, and the new ways are in. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair damaged joint tissue using the natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics regenerative protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you quality of life you deserve. Call now and schedule your free consultation. 802-PAINLESS. That's 802-PAINLESS. Treatments are not yet FDA approved.
Hi, my name is Jeff Gould. I live in Barre, Vermont, and run J. Gould Plumbing and Heating. I'm here to talk to you about Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice, an organization that is very dear to me and my sister Elizabeth's heart. CVHHH's hospice team cared for my mother, Barbara Gould, a nurse who worked for 50 years in this community at the end of her life. CVHHH's hospice nurses embraced me, my mom, and my family with warmth and kindness that helped us through a very painful time. They explained what to expect as Mom declined and were always available to answer our questions. Mom received the same high-quality care that she valued and provided as a nurse. Elizabeth and I are forever grateful. So please join Elizabeth and I and donate to Central Vermont Home Health and Hospice's Spring Appeal. Your gift ensures families like ours can access the loving care and one-on-one support in the comfort of home and at a time when it matters the most. Please donate at cvhhh.org. Thank you.
For 75 years, a single stage has created thousands of magical summer memories. St. Michael's Playhouse.
My wife and I get a date night, so we get to hold hands and laugh.
Award-winning plays, acclaimed actors, area premieres. No wonder the New York City Drama League calls the Playhouse one of the best regional theater companies in America.
You become so engrossed in their emotions and what they're doing, you forget everything else, so it really does become a date night.
Don't miss the hilarious and uplifting new comedy Into the Breaches, June 29 through July 9th. The year is 1942, and all the leading men in the Oberon Playhouse cast of Henry V are overseas fighting for freedom. Determined to keep the theater going, an all-female cast is assembled, delivering a performance celebrating collaboration and persistence, and reminding us that the show must go on. For tickets to Into the Breaches, June 29 through July 9th, go to stmichaelsplayhouse.org.
How well does your garden grow? Tune in Saturdays at 12:30 for In the Garden with Peter Burke. Peter and co-host Joel Nashman give you one full hour of the latest news, helpful tips, and your calls to talk about what's happening in your garden. It's brought to you in part by Poly Construction, Gregory Drive, South Burlington. One call does it all. In the Garden with Peter Burke, live Saturdays at 12:30. Hear the podcast anytime at WDEVradio.com.
We're back on Vermont Viewpoint at the Scale House in Hardwick, and they are now open for you to stop in for a breakfast nosh, a cocktail. Hardwick is probably one of the easiest towns in the state to find. Simply hop on Route 14, 15, or 16, and you will eventually get here. It was also the one-time home of Jim Fix, the famed author of The Joy of Running. Now let's meet the famed town manager of Hardwick, David Upson, known worldwide as Opie. David, thanks for being on the show this morning.
Thank you for having me.
It's great having you. How long have you been working for the town?
I started here in September of 2021.
And before that, you were?
I was a Vermont State Trooper.
And you were part of the scuba team. I had Captain Matt Daly talking about that yesterday.
Yes. I served on the scuba team for 6 years.
That's outstanding.
Yep.
Had to be a neat experience.
It was a great experience. My experience as a trooper was a very great, rewarding experience.
Yeah. How long had you been a trooper?
Almost 10 years.
Oh, well, thanks for doing that. Love the work the troopers do.
Yeah.
But what attracted you to this job? This is a little bit different in some ways, being the town manager of your hometown, Hardwick.
Yeah. So the job came open. And our interim town manager came in, John Jewett, who was one of the longest running town managers we had. He came back after the prior town manager had resigned, and some community members kind of reached out to me and said, "Hey, we think you'd be good at this job. What do you think?" And at the time I was hemming and hawing, maybe a career change, and this came up, and I was pretty excited about trying it out. So I applied, and here I am.
And you mentioned to me before we started that the police force, the public safety, is under your purview as town manager. So you have some of that experience to share.
Yes, we have a local police department, which is rare for a town our size.
Yeah.
I also have a background in water and wastewater, so sort of the public works side of things. So I had some experience that was, met up with the job requirements.
Yeah, and the population now is a little over 2,000.
Yep.
Around 2,300 here in Hardwick.
Yep.
Now that you spend time in the position, you're feeling it was the right move. You're feeling.
I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just wrapped up 5 community gatherings that I partnered with the Hardwick area Neighbor to Neighbor group.
Yep.
And we organized through some volunteers within the community. We organized 5 community gatherings that we held through different areas of the town, and they were well attended. And we got a lot of great information on how people felt about living in Hardwick. What was great about it, what people wanted to see in the future, and we collected all that information. We're gonna, synthesize it and put it out so people can see. But it was real rewarding, and it was a lot of fun.
That's excellent. I got to say, as I was putting together this roster of guests for this morning's show, you got the most votes. Everybody I spoke to said, "Well, you got to have Opie on, right?" So if you didn't come over here and be on the show, I'd have to move the show over to your office.
Yeah.
What are some of the key projects that the town is currently working on?
Well, right over my shoulder here, we have the pedestrian bridge.
Yeah.
That's kind of an iconic symbol of Hardwick, and we're working on getting that back up and running so people can cross the bridge and access some of the parking on the other side of the river, and then so they can access the downtown. We have...
and let's not leave that bridge. I mean, people who live here know how important that is.
Yeah.
Where are we with the bridge?
So we have we've applied for grants. We've put some of our own funds up, and we're in the early planning stages and design of the bridge. We had a landscape architect that suddenly passed this winter, David Raphael, who's a great guy. He did a lot of good stuff for Vermont, and he participated in community input meetings and was working on a preliminary design for the bridge. So March, April, we had to kind of shift gears and look for a new landscape architect. We've found one, the SE Group out of Burlington, and we're trying to get them as much information right now so they can continue work. But it's close. We're close.
And timeline overall, best scenario.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Best case.
I'm hoping we have a design by the end of this construction season.
Good.
And we've done a lot of the field work, the surveying, the bridge abutments, making sure they're good to go and we can reuse them. And I would say, early next year, I'll cross my fingers, we'll start construction.
Excellent. Now, you were about to tell us about other projects, too, in the town.
Yeah, we have. I have to mention that the state of Vermont is doing all the Class 1 highways in the village limits, and they're doing a great job. They're out there right now.
Yeah, I see.
And, be patient if you're driving through Hardwick. The traffic's a little crazy right now, but, they put in a shim coat, and they're doing all the catch basins and the manholes right now, and then they're going to wrap that up with some nice new top coat and some new paint, new lines, new parking spaces. But so that we're super happy that the state decided to do that project. We have the Yellow Barn, which is down on the west end of town.
Eric Remick will be on a little later to talk about that.
Yeah, so I don't want to steal his thunder, but that's going to be a game changer for the area. The LVRT obviously comes through Hardwick.
And for those who don't know the acronym, it's the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail.
Lamoille Valley Rail Trail. And I think that the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail is going to be a game changer for the whole northern part of the state.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people here now with bikes and, out-of-state plates and, people coming up and recreating here in Hardwick and in the Hardwick area.
It is really exciting.
I say Hardwick's the center of the universe. So.
And it's a great universe.
Yeah.
Well, Hardwick does seem to have more vibrancy and life each time that I visit. Am I making that up, or have you seen that?
Yeah, I grew up here, so there's been life and vibrancy in this town all those years. The people here are what makes Hardwick so great.
Yeah.
The community is very strong here, and that's what makes it such a special place.
And what does the town need to keep it moving forward like that?
Well, we have a project down at the wastewater plant. A lot of people don't realize that the wastewater plant, really can slow down economic development. We're trying to increase our capacity down there so we can grow a little bit. So we have a project going on this summer to increase the capacity, to put new aeration in the lagoons, and that's really tied to some economic growth.
Yeah.
So we're working on that. But I would say a mix between just a little bit of economic growth and a little bit of the same old Hardwick. We can't explode, and we don't want to explode. We want to maintain what we have here.
Yeah, you do not want to lose what you've had, what's made it Hardwick all these years. What are the biggest challenges the town is currently facing?
I would say the biggest challenges.
You like to think you've overcome them all.
No,
in September. So
no, definitely not. Definitely not. I try to keep a positive spin on things, and really, the biggest challenges right now for me are these big projects.
Yeah.
We've gone out to bid on several big projects. We had the Judavine Library.
Right.
That just went out to bid, and it came back over budget. And the cost of services and goods right now, and supply chain issues and labor force, that is a big challenge. And I think it's not just Hardwick, it's a challenge all over. So that's really slowing down some progress, some necessary progress.
Yeah. Well, Ray Small's been telling us about the Judavine Library project, but update people on where that is, what's happening there. It's an expansion of that beautiful building.
Yeah, it's an expansion, an addition, adding on some more library space, but also some community gathering space, and it's something that's needed. And there's the Hardwick area neighbor-to-neighbor group uses the library as kind of an information hub. Lisa Samet is the librarian up there, and she takes in a lot of phone calls of people just calling and needing some sort of guidance or service.
Right.
And so it's really like the nervous system of Hardwick.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And so we need to support that. The library, the group that headed up the project, they've raised a ton of money for their cause, and we as a community need to support that cause. So we're kind of in some budgetary constraints with construction stuff, so we have to figure out where to get those funds.
Right.
But I'm hopeful and positive that those will show up.
Now, Opie, we have about a minute left. For those who haven't visited Hardwick, I know it's hard to believe, but what would you like to tell them about this town to get them to come and visit?
I would say that if you're coming from Route 15 west, if you're coming east on Route 15, do not stop at the yellow light. Slow down and proceed with caution, okay?
Right.
And be weary of people not stopping on the other two approaches. Everybody struggles with that intersection. But
I've come in that way enough times to know what to do, but I do see people do that. Yep.
That intersection has been there for long before us, and it's going to be there long after us. So we got to work with it.
And that's a former state trooper who's telling you, don't worry, just use caution, but go through the yellow. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well done, Opie. David Upson is Hardwick's town manager. To learn more about what's happening in the town, you can visit hardwickvt.gov. Opie, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right. Let's take a break for a CBS News update. Then we'll return to the Scale House in Hardwick and meet local historian Chrystal Fox. And coming up today at noon, listen to the afternoon news service with Lee Cattell and Brady Farkas. This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV.
CBS News Brief. CBS News has learned former Trump White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson will testify at today's surprise hearing called by Congress January 6th investigators. Correspondent Scott McFarland.
They've deposed Hutchinson already. They had a lengthy closed-door deposition with her. Today, they present Hutchinson's testimony in public for the world.
3 people in custody after the bodies of nearly 50 migrants were found in the back of a hot, airless tractor trailer in San Antonio. CBS's Omar Villafranca.
We don't know the names or the ages of those who are dead, but we do know that of the 16 people taken to the hospital, 12 adults, 4 children.
Boy Scouts aboard the train that hit a dump truck derailed and flipped in rural Missouri getting credit from their troop leader.
We had a number of kids with some injuries. The one scout stayed with the truck driver and got him some water and comforted him.
The driver and 2 train passengers were killed. CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
Amy here from Auto Craftsman in Montpelier. If you drive a Honda, Subaru, or Toyota, I am pleased to tell you that Auto Craftsman in Montpelier has specialized on these vehicles for over 20 years. Many call us the dealer alternative. If you want an ASC certified expert working on your Honda, Subaru, or Toyota, then give Auto Craftsman a call. What is ASC? ASC stands for the National Institute for Automotive Service Excellence, which sets the industry standard with their certification program. I am proud to tell you that we have 2 ASC certified master technicians on staff who also have their Advanced Engine Performance Specialist certification. Auto Craftsman also specializes in excellent customer service. We have created multiple options to receive and deliver your vehicle with 0 human-to-human contact. To make an appointment, call Auto Craftsman at 223-2253 or go to our website at autocraftsman.com.
Folks, Dan Keene here at Memorial Valley Ford, where we're still ordering for less. Tell them, kid.
That's right, Dan. Business is cranking here at Memorial Valley Ford, and we're retail ordering new vehicles for less. Although the factories are going through model year changeovers, we are still accepting orders for the entire Ford lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Not only will our customers be at the front of the line when the new models roll out, but they'll be paying less at Memorial Valley Ford too, and here's why. Right now, when you order your new Ford with us, Memorial Valley Ford will take an additional $1,000 $1,000 off MSRP, and that's on top of factory incentives and huge trade allowances. And speaking of trades, I want you to know our lot is jam-packed with more clean, late-model pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs than ever, and we're making deals to sell them down. And remember this, if you need a vehicle today, at Lamoille Valley Ford, we have the largest stock of new Fords in Vermont.
Woo! So drive Route 14, 15, or 16 to Hardwick, where you can order your new Ford for less at Lamoille Valley Ford.
Happy swings and drives a long one to right. Down the line, it is gone. Wow, almost hit the back wall. And the Red Sox lead it 3-1.
Boston Red Sox baseball on WDEV is brought to you by Bisbee's Hardware and by your local cooperative insurance agents. Berwick Agency in Peacham, Calderwood Agency Hardwick, Frankenberg Agency Randolph, and Hickok and Boardman in Stowe. Your home for Boston Red Sox baseball is WDEV.
We're back on Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV from the Scale House in Hardwick, where you can stop in, see the show, grab a bite. The restaurant will be open today until 2 o'clock. It's time now to meet someone who can give us a crash course on the history of this area. Joining me now is Chrystal Fox, who has spent years chronicling the history of the area. And Chrystal, welcome to Vermont Viewpoint.
Thank you.
I cannot believe this is the first time you've been on WDEV and on radio, period. Now, where did you grow up? Where do you live now?
I grew up in Walden. Actually, my folks brought me up when they used to bring people up. We got taught manners and a lot of other things. Mm-hmm. And I now live in Danville. I'm a half a mile over the Walden line.
Okay. So, not so far from Walden. But and you've written this book, you're the author of My Memories of Frankie and Ginny. So tell us who Frankie and Ginny were.
They were my parents. They were born in 1922 and 1927 in Cabot.
Okay. And then where did they had a farm, right?
They bought the farm in Walden in 1953
mm-hmm.
and never left.
Yeah. What kind of farm was it?
A dairy farm.
Yeah.
318 acres. We still have 318 acres.
Wow. And Walden was kind of a dairy spot at that time compared to now. Tell us how things have changed through the years.
Well, I think there was about 60 dairy farms then. Today we have 3 farms shipping milk, a couple raising beef critters.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's a lot of changes.
Yeah.
We shipped the milk in milk cans, and then in 1966 they started picking it up with a milk truck.
Yeah.
And we had to put in a bulk tank, and that did away with a lot of the farms then because people couldn't afford the bulk tank or didn't have a way for it. They were older, and so they didn't go.
No kidding.
The land got used by other farmers because they had to put on a few more cows usually.
Right. Oh, my goodness. And what was it like growing up in that time in this area?
Well, I had 11 brothers and sisters.
Oh, my goodness.
So you don't imagine being an only child, but we never went hungry. We ate, well, we didn't realize we were eating organic.
Right.
Because we raised stuff on the farm. We had our chickens, pigs, cows, beef, whatever.
Farm to plate, that was, was no fancy concept.
Yep. Didn't have tuna fish nor seafood.
Right. And then, what was the big town you came into? Was it Hardwick, or was Walden, big enough? What did you do when you kind of went looking for fun?
Well, I went to Danville to high school.
Yeah.
So I went there. They had dances.
Right.
And so we would go there. My 3 of my older brothers went there. So, yeah, it kind of shifted towards Danville. Did come to Hardwick once in a while. They had Ray and Lucy's. Did you ever hear of Ray and Lucy's?
I don't think so.
Oh, God, that was a bar down there.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, on Lookout Street. And there was also one here, but Coles Pond Casino was a dance hall.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah. That John J. Yaftjack started buying property up there in 1948
mm-hmm.
and built a dance hall and called it Coles Pond Casino. And he had dances for the younger people on Friday night, and then their parents would go on Saturday night. for quite a few years, but it got a little rough. And
was this back when people had a dance card? Or was
No. In the 60s, 70s, whatever.
Okay.
And, of course, Bernie Lucier and the Craftsbury Vibrations played up there. There was some local bands. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
Now, another thing I want to talk to you about is you are Chrystal Foster Fox. So the Foster family made taps, right? And
Sap spelt, yeah.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, my great-great-grandfather in Cabot in 1894 invented the sap spelt, and it was a popular one because there's a million of them around. But
right.
he had a patent on it, and he must have got some money, but I didn't get any of it. And my Anson Tebbett's great-great-grandfather, 5 years later, invented the sap spelt. But that was kind of a poor design, according to all of the Tebbetts ever since, and they are very rare.
Yeah. Do you still have some of the ones from the Fosters? No kidding.
Oh, yeah.
And were they, I mean, they're metal, right? So were they forged here? Were they manufactured? Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness. There it is. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know where he had them made, but you could buy them like for a penny a piece or something.
Yeah. Wow. And I see some lettering. Is that
patent pending?
Patent pending, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. That is fabulous. Oh, my goodness. You know Hale Mattoon down in Chelsea? Oh, yeah, of course you do.
Yep.
Because Hale collects all of them. I would imagine he has some of the Fosters in his collection.
Well, and we're related way back.
Oh.
The Lyfords, I think that named Lyford Pond in Walden, I think them were relatives of his way back in the day.
All right. What else will we find in your book, My Memories of Frankie and Ginny?
Every one of their dozen kids, what it cost them to have them at the hospital, from $50 to right on through.
Their marriage license is in there.
There it is.
Yeah.
Birth certificate.
Yep.
Yeah. Deer, how many deer were killed each year, weather stories, stories about the flood of 27, the hurricane of 38 that they both lived through, and, little general interest.
Yeah.
My father always wanted to write a book, but he got Alzheimer's, and he didn't have but a few pages. But anyway, and I put it in there, what he had written, and one day he said to me, he says, I can't really remember how to write. And he never wrote again.
Oh, my goodness.
But that's in there, too.
Wow. Now, had you been chronicling this all along with the intention of publishing a book? Or?
Yeah. They had always told us everything, that when they came to Hardwick with the horse and buggy and went to the bar.
Yeah.
And everything all the way through. They were very open. They were very private people to the public. They liked staying at home.
Yeah.
And they're buried right there on the farm.
Oh, my goodness.
There's a picture of a big rock where they're buried.
Who owns that farm today?
My brothers and sisters and I.
Really? No kidding. Oh, wow. Now, I understand this is not going to be the last book you write. You're working on another?
Yes. This one is basically about the farms. I'm going from 1953, where the farms were then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no camps on Coles Pond and no camps on Lyford's Pond, and we had this one big farm, the Cahoon Farm, as Cahoon Farm Road, was 600 acres. Well, the other day I drove up and down that road, and I think there's 30 houses and camps on that one place.
Wow.
So there's been a lot of changes.
Yeah. So you're going to kind of follow the life of different farms in the area?
Yes.
Yeah. And is that just Walden or?
Oh, no, just Walden.
Just Walden, yeah.
That's what I know, so that's what I'm sticking with.
Sweet spot, right?
Yeah.
Even though you live just across the town line now. What is it that you enjoy about collecting this history and writing about it?
The pleasure people get from it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah. How does somebody get a copy of My Memories of Frankie and Ginny?
They're on sale at the Stop and Shop in Walden, the Schoolhouse Gallery, and at Butch's Harvest Store.
All right. And someone could contact you directly.
Yeah, my name and address is in there, so they can...
All right. Well, no one can see it on the radio, so you better tell them how they find you.
Okay. It's 2824 Walden Hill Road.
All right.
Danville.
All right. Yeah, that's right. Across the town line.
Yep.
And what's your phone number?
802
Okay.
684 1054.
All right. Okay, this is Chrystal Foster Fox. You can learn all about her family, great local history of Walden and the surrounding area, and the book is called My Memories of Frankie and Ginny. What's the next book going to be called? Do you have a working title?
I'm thinking about Walden Memories 1953 on or something.
Yeah.
I haven't decided yet.
All right. Interested in the books, you can find them at the Stop and Shop, the Schoolhouse Gallery, Butch's, or you can contact Chrystal at 802-684-1054. Chrystal Fox, writer, historian, and again, author of My Memories of Frankie and Ginny. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
I can't believe this is your first time in radio. After all, this accomplished life. It took us to get you on.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for being here. We're going to take a break and return to the Scale House in Hardwick. Next, we're going to discuss what's happening at the Hardwick Yellow Barn. And coming up today at 1 o'clock, we have the January 6th Commission hearings. They'll be on until 3 o'clock, and then it's the Getaway with Greg Hooker. This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV.
Northfield Savings Bank is proud to sponsor WDEV at 90. Whether you're a builder, a maker, or a doer, at Northfield Savings Bank, we are proud to be the bank for Vermonters and Vermont businesses. Find out more about us at nsbvt.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative, regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics. 802-PAINLESS. That's 802-PAINLESS. QC Kinetics. 802-PAINLESS. That's 802-PAINLESS. Treatments are not yet FDA approved.
Folks, Dan and Pat Keene here at Lamoille Valley Chevy. We want you to know that now's the time to order for less at Lamoille Valley Chevy. Tell them, Pat.
Thanks, bro. Folks, at Lamoille Valley Chevy, business is really strong, and we're retail ordering new vehicles for less. Right now, Chevrolet is going through model year changeovers, and we are still accepting orders for the entire lineup of Chevy car, trucks, and SUVs. Not only will our customers be at the front of the line when the new models roll out, but they will be paying less at Lamoille Valley Chevy, too. And here's why. Right now, when you order your new Chevy from Lamoille Valley, we will take an additional $1,000 off MSRP, and that is on top of factory incentives and huge trade allowances. And speaking of trades, as always, our lot at Lamoille Valley Chevy is packed right now with clean, late-model pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs. We are making deals to sell them down. And shoppers, if you need a vehicle today, we just had 3 truckloads of new Chevy trucks and SUVs arrive this week. So come on down before they're gone.
You heard, Pat. Order for less and save money today at Lamoille Valley Chevy, located just past Stowe and Morrisville in the beautiful town of Hyde Park, Vermont.
My name is Joshua White, Chief Medical Officer here at Gifford. The services that we offer range from pediatrics, where you can come to get your vaccinations, to routine care of chronic illness with high blood pressure and diabetes, to women's health and all the associated individualized needs that patients may come to us with.
Gifford's primary care team is welcoming new patients in Randolph, Bethel, Berlin, Chelsea, and Rochester. To find a provider near you, visit giffordhealthcare.org.
For some people, all they need to know about weather is the high temperature for the day. But if you're one of those people who really wants to understand the hows and whys of weather, especially here in the Green Mountain State, then Roger Hill's Weather Classroom podcast is for you. Some of the topics I'll explore are the types of precipitation, global temperature averages, and tropical cyclones. Roger Hill's Weather Classroom podcast is available at WDEVradio.com, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music.
The Brady Farkas Show airs every single weeknight at 5:30. We usually go till 7 unless the Red Sox bump us until a time shorter than that. But for however long we're on the air, we're talking sports with the biggest names and the best guests from all around the world of sports. Red Sox, Patriots, Celtics, Bruins, and UVM, we've got it all covered. And you can always get in on the Napa Morrisville and Napa Waterbury text line at 802-585-3026. The Brady Farkas Show, weeknights at 5:30 on WDEV.
We're back on Vermont Viewpoint, live from the Scale House in Hardwick. Now it's time to visit with a Hardwick business owner. Shari Cornish has the Whistle Emporium in Hardwick, and she is also the chair of the Hardwick Downtown Commission. Shari, welcome to Vermont Viewpoint.
Thanks for having me.
Did I get that right?
You did.
All the right titles?
I'm also a select board member.
Oh, and a select board member. Yeah. We're going to add to the list.
And the president of the Townhouse, the Northeast Kingdom Arts Council.
Keep
for
going.
The Townhouse.
Anything else?
I'm on the planning commission, and we've got an open seat, so, you know.
Do you rest?
I do. Luckily, I have someone who is my best friend for many years who runs the store for me. So.
Well, let's talk about the store right down the street here, the Whistle Emporium. When did you open the store?
2013 on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, my gosh.
In honor of my great aunt, Irene, who was Ashley Cutright Pharmacy in Hardwick.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That was my mom's first job at the soda counter.
Oh, my gosh. Are you from here in Hardwick?
No, I'm not. I grew up in Kansas City, Missouri, but my mother was from here, and so our family vacations were always to visit Hardwick and our Hardwick relatives.
Oh, I love it. Okay. And then when did you wind up becoming a Hardwickian, whatever they are?
It's a circuitous route. My husband was an actor. We lived in Minneapolis, St. Paul for 12 years after we got married, and then we spent a couple of very expensive years in Los Angeles, and I made my way to North Carolina to work in the textile industry. I went to art school for textile design, and it was at sillymonster.com, and put my name on there and put every place that we'd ever want to live in. And lo and behold, I got a job in the retail sales, like having Vermont and Western Mass as my territories.
Oh, no kidding.
For being a sales rep for the gift industry.
Oh, I love it. And then you decided in 2013 to open the Emporium.
Yeah, that was my retirement plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Edgar and I were going to walk to work for the rest of our days. Yeah.
Well, you're running all over town with stuff right now. Give us a little tour of the store, because it is a fun and interesting place.
Well, it's, the goal is to have something for anybody and everybody.
Right.
I just really felt like Hardwick could use something that wasn't the drugstore to buy a cute little gift or bridal shower or baby shower, that sort of thing.
Right.
So we just have an array of different things, almost every category. A little something to pick up.
All right. Share a couple with us. Get us in that store.
We've got a lot of toys. There are many kids in town that think it's a toy store, but there are toys, there are, all kinds of fun, I have
puzzles,
a sense of humor that,
decks of cards that are kind
games, beautiful decks of cards, and useful things, and fun and functional, kind of across the board. Lots of candles, lots of cards.
What do you enjoy about running a shop here in town?
Well, it was the only thing I hadn't done in retail, and I enjoy being here in Hardwick and being able to walk to work, but also just being my own boss.
And so you've been here about a decade. So how has Hardwick changed in the time you've been here?
Well, I went to soon after we moved here. Once I got kind of settled into my job driving all over the state, I went to a weekend creative economy workshop that was held here and found my way to the townhouse to get involved in that because I was interested in arts and culture primarily. But then I was led to the select board, and then I found out about the Economic Development Fund that Hardwick has for small business startups. And then I started thinking that I could have my store.
I love it.
So then I just waited for the spot. to open up.
Perfect progression.
But the goal has always been, for me, on the select board, to make more reasons for people to stop in Hardwick.
Yeah.
Because we're the intersection of 3 state highways, so
I know.
a lot of people pass through.
Like I said, this is the easiest town in the state to find. Just take 14, 15, or 16, and you will wind up here. It's not that hard. Let's put that Hardwick Downtown Commission hat on for a little bit. What makes coming to downtown Hardwick special?
Well, it's convenient in many ways for the larger area, but it's kind of a one-stop downtown, or that's our goal.
Yeah.
So you can get something, a gift, or something for yourself. You can have a nice meal. You can enjoy some of the historic qualities that we have here, and then you can, buy a house and stay.
Yeah, you got the co-op right downtown. You got great restaurants right downtown.
Lots of things in walking distance.
Yeah. What would you like to see happen to Hardwick, specifically downtown, to take it to the next level?
Well, our big push in the last year, so last June, a year ago, the select board appointed a downtown commission, and that was all with the goal of achieving the downtown designation. We've been a village center for many years, but it's time to kind of take that next step and have those benefits that downtown designation gives you for economic development projects.
And explain what those benefits are. That's really interesting for people to know
Well,
about.
it opens up more opportunities for funding through the state for the ACCD, the Agency of Commerce and Community Development.
Right.
Historic preservation, additional funds are opened up. It feels complicated, but it's actually pretty simple. It just helps us along the way. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned just about everything you'd need is downtown. Any kind of shop or service downtown that you'd love to see move in that would kind of, that if somebody's thinking of a business and Hardwick, it would be a good fit for what you need here?
I'd love to see like a full-on bakery.
Oh, yeah.
I think the co-op does a great job of bringing things in, and I know that they're planning a more of a cafe cafe sort of experience there. But a real bakery would be fantastic.
We've got some lovely croissants from the coffee shop
right?
on the street as well.
They do a great job.
Yeah.
But I want to buy I want to order a cake.
Gotcha. Sometimes not just a small nosh, but something like that. How will this move by Buffalo Mountain Co-op impact the downtown?
Well, that remains to be seen. But as a Main Street business owner, I think it's going to help us a little bit with our parking issues because now the co-op will have a designated parking area, like fairly large for us.
Yeah.
And that'll open up some more parking on Main Street. I know people have trouble with that. They like to park outside of where they're going. So we'll see how the co-op folks walk up Main Street and visit.
Yeah. And the pedestrian bridge right behind us.
Oh, yeah. We miss that.
Yeah.
It's a big project. It was a rough day when we discovered that one of those lines was down and we could no longer use that bridge.
Yeah, how long has it been
especially miss
closed?
it because I live on the other side of it. So I have to walk a longer way.
Yeah.
Not a lot longer, but longer.
Yeah.
Still. And it was it's such a great, it almost was a destination a lot of times. Like parents would come in and one would take the kids across to the bridge and, run around while the other one was shopping, and it's a fun thing. So our plan or our vision for that is when that bridge gets replaced with a beautiful pedestrian bridge, we'll also have hopefully a park on the other side.
Brilliant.
So there'll be an opportunity to be outside and be in downtown at the same time.
Gotcha. We've got about 30 seconds left. What do you want to tell people who haven't been to Hardwick to get them to come here and visit?
Every day people discover Whistle and they say, wow, what a great store. How long have you been here?
Yeah, right.
And it's coming on 10 years.
Yeah.
So whatever you do when you're driving through Hardwick, make the stop.
Time for a discovery.
Yeah.
The Whistle Emporium.
Absolutely.
Shari Cornish owns the Whistle Emporium, is the chair of the Hardwick Downtown Commission, is on the Town Select Board, and you can visit whistleemporium.com for hours and shopping fun.
And a beautiful virtual tour.
Yes,
so you can take a look and see before you come.
Absolutely. Sherry, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break and then return to our live broadcast from the Scale House Restaurant in downtown. Next, we probably will have Eric Remick to talk about the Hardwick Yellow Barn, but we shall see. This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV.
This is WDEV, Vermont's news station, owned and operated by the Radio Vermont Group. From the top of Sugarbush, 96.1 FM, WDEV Warren and Waitsfield, 96.5 W243 Barrie, 98.3 W252 CU Montpelier, along with our founding station, AM 550 WDEV Waterbury Montpelier, streaming at WDEVradio.com. 90 years of serving Vermont, the friendly pioneer, WDEV.
This is CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Lawmakers are getting ready for today's surprise hearing in the January 6th investigation.
It could be a very different type of hearing than what we've seen before.
Politico's Kyle Cheney on expected testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, a top aide to former President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows. Correspondent Jeff Pegues.
For anybody watching these hearings and saying, boy, I wish I was that fly on the wall, Hutchinson could be as close to that as this committee is going to get.
Others in that same inner circle have refused to testify. In a private interview with investigators, Hutchinson said she saw documents being burned. Neighbors in San Antonio were shocked when they found out a city worker discovered nearly 50 bodies inside a sweltering, airless tractor trailer, all believed to be migrants.
They come here to work. They come here to look for a better life.
Police say they have 3 people in custody. A new development in the Flint, Michigan water crisis. CBS's Jim Chrystal.
The Michigan Supreme Court has ruled that a judge had no authority to issue indictments. The ruling wipes out charges against former Governor Rick Snyder, his health director, and 7 other people. Snyder was charged with misdemeanors.
The NTSB confirms they are about an hour away from the scene of yesterday's Amtrak crash in rural Missouri. 3 people were killed when the train slammed into a pickup truck at a crossing. It derailed and several cars flipped over.
I felt an impact. The car was turning on its side and people were flying in all directions.
The truck driver and 2 passengers died. The White House says the U.S. is ready to announce new military deployments across Europe. Pentagon correspondent Cammie McCormick has new details.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan says there will be an announcement tomorrow on building up land, sea, and air forces over the long term. They'll be focused on the Baltics, the Balkans, and NATO's eastern flank. There's been a steady buildup of U.S. forces in Europe since Russia's war in Ukraine, and a steady supply of more weapons.
Ghislaine Maxwell will be sentenced next hour. CBS's Matt Piper has details from New York.
It's after she was found guilty of helping Jeffrey Epstein abuse girls between 1994 and 2004. Prosecutors say she deserves at least 30 years in prison.
Officials in southwest Colombia say at least 49 people have died in a fire that broke out during a riot at a prison in the city of Tuluá. The director tells a local news agency protesting prisoners ignited the flames. Dow up 347. This is CBS News.
Find great hires fast with Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Dirty exterior? Don't scrub it. Wet it and forget it. Wet and Forget, the easy outdoor cleaner. Wet and Forget works overtime with Mother Nature to eliminate unsightly black and green stains on the exterior of your home with no scrubbing, power washing, or bleach. Use Wet and Forget on all your outdoor surfaces, including decks, siding, roofs, and patios. Wet and Forget is available as a concentrate or extreme reach hose end. Purchase Wet and Forget in-store or online at Lowe's, Menards, Ace, or Walmart.
If it's just another day, that doesn't mean you deserve just another shower. Nebbia by Moen Quattro creates 4 unique shower experiences. Relieve, soothe, clarify, and cleanse to give you all the escape while using 50% less water than standard showers, making your everyday routine an experience. Water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV. We're still here at the Scale House in Hardwick, which is open for business today until 2 o'clock. And I do want to read a great little email we got from Beth, who says, I do my stocking stuffer shopping at the Whistle Emporium every Christmas. It's the most fun, unusual, sassy things you can find anywhere. And she loves hearing from Sherry Cornish, the owner of the Whistle. And it is time now. We're going to learn about a group that keeps doing wonderful things for the residents of the village of East Hardwick. With me is Cheryl Michaels, the chair of the East Hardwick Neighborhood Organization. Cheryl, welcome back to Vermont Viewpoint.
Thank you, Rick. It's nice to be here.
I had Cheryl slip on the headset, and I asked, have you ever done radio before? And then I remembered, yes, with me. Of course you have. Cheryl, when and why did this group form?
It formed about 4 years ago, and we had a meeting where we got together, just called it an East Hardwick Town meeting, and miraculously a whole bunch of people showed up. And we asked them, what do you like about living here? What could improve your life here? And we got lots of answers. And one of the answers was to have some sort of community organization and also to do this again. And so we started an email list. And within a year, we were incorporated as a 501c3.
Wow.
And we're off. Our email list includes way more than 100 people now, and lots of people willing to do things. Every year we still send out, during COVID we sent out a survey, but before that we had an annual meeting, and we ask the same questions, and we have people who come and talk and so on. And I'm sort of building up to something I want to talk about.
Please do. Go right on.
That is one of the answers to those questions, is always some kind of gathering place. For example, someone might say a coffee shop. Someone might say, gee, we'd really like to have McFeeder's store as a general store again, or some sort of meeting place. We'd like to have a pub. We'd like to have a restaurant. But it always, a library, it always adds up to a place where we can have community, meet people, and so on. So, again, I'm building up River House, which is a little house that's now being fixed up. It was getting pretty run down. Mm-hmm. Sits right on the river, is very historic, and we have been given the opportunity to lease it or rent it for 6 or 7 weeks this summer.
And what will be done there?
And so it's going to be a library, a snack shop, and we'll have Wi-Fi.
Oh, I love it.
And we'll have some regular hours, but we're also just opening up to the community to do things like tutoring or have card games or whatever during the rest of the time.
Oh,
and it'll all be manned by volunteers.
When will it be opening?
It's going to opening. We're sort of having a soft opening date, which is July 16th and 17th, a Saturday and Sunday. And then on Friday, the 29th of July, through August 29th, we'll have it on a regular schedule of Saturday, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and maybe Monday, that it will be open for certain hours. We're already booking people who want to do things like tutoring in the building, have meetings, that kind of thing, and we're getting great response.
What a great example of people power. 4 years ago, when you were going to have this little village meeting, could you have imagined what has happened in the 4 years?
No, I couldn't even imagine that. I think that first meeting, 35 to 40 people showed up.
Yeah.
And then at the next meeting, we had started the process for getting our designated village center. And again, like 45 people showed up. And then, we started this email list. We formed our corporation. We send out an email newsletter every month. And it's been a wonderful way of connecting. We have all kinds of activities.
Yeah,
there.
Tell us about some of the activities and events you've staged and have coming up, because I want to move to East Hardwick just so I can play with you guys.
Well, one of the things is that we're organizing a village yard sale. We help to sponsor a children's parade, which was just the last weekend.
Oh, wow.
Weekend before, actually, in the rain. But we sponsored that along with other organizations in town, the church and the Grange, and a private organization. And then the other things we're working on are things that will improve safety in the village. We've identified safety issues, and we're talking with the town about them.
Yeah.
Our sidewalks are in horrendous condition, and speed control, and the town has now put a speed, one of those laser speed signs in the village.
Which really do work.
They do. It's amazing.
I see my speed, and I think, better dial it back. I don't know why, but I do immediately.
It happens to be in front of my house, so I see people turn and then slam on their brakes. And guardrails, things of that sort. Yeah. We're working with our planning commission on an AARP walkability assessment, and with Local Motion on a bikeability study for the village. So we've got a little park we're improving. We're right on the rail trail.
Oh, perfect.
So we're trying to figure how can we use the rail trail for our community as well as bring other people into the community, as are everybody in Vermont.
Yeah.
So we've improved this little park that will give us. We've made a rain garden, and it was in pretty bad shape. It was kind of a mud hole, and we've made a couple of parking spaces there. We have worked with the state on a historic marker, which will be there next year, and you can overlook the river from there. We're also working with the town on trying to find some more parking spaces.
Yep.
We sponsor a little free library. I could just go on and on.
Well, I know I think you made cookies for people during the pandemic.
Did, yes.
You had gnomes and gnomettes out there.
We did.
Tell people about that.
Yeah, this was just a suggestion by someone who lives in East Hardwick who said, wouldn't it be nice to make cookies? So we said, we'll help you. We'll use our email list to get the word out, and a couple of our board members agreed to help, and lots and lots of people baked cookies and put them in bags, and we walked around in our gnome costumes with little carts and distributed cookies throughout the village, and then a few people distributed them outside the village. And that was really, really a wonderful project.
Yeah.
People loved it. And we've done it for two winters now.
Oh, I love this so much. What is the personal motivation you have for having this happen in East Hardwick and having this neighborhood organization?
Interesting question. I grew up in East Hardwick. Both of my grandparents lived in the village. I lived on a farm about a mile outside the village.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to leave.
Cheryl.
I just couldn't wait to leave. So I left, and 50 years later, when we were getting around to retiring, And my my father had passed away. Both of my brothers lived in East Hardwick. And Mom suggested that if we were looking for a place to retire, we come back here. And instantly, we'd never thought of it, but instantly my husband and I went, let's do it. So we did.
Where had you been?
I had been, let's see, Colorado, California, France, Germany, Massachusetts, Connecticut.
No place special.
No.
Wow.
So, you know, we both had nice careers, both in information technology, and this just was coming home.
Oh,
and it was wonderful to be home.
Yeah.
And I, you know, connected with new people and old people, and I thought that I could use my skills towards helping to develop more community in East Hardwick.
And the work's not done.
Oh, no.
You know, we've got a minute left, but what would you like to see happen in the future now?
Well, I would like to see the neighborhood organization grow. I would like to see some of the seeds we've planted happen.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd like to step back a little bit and turn it over to other people.
Sure.
Who are actually stepping up, and that's going to be an easy thing to do within the next couple of years.
You gave it a big starting push, didn't you?
I gave it hell.
And look what it has wrought. It's fabulous.
And you know, here I am taking all the credit, but it's not all my credit, and it wasn't even all my idea.
Anybody you want to mention very quickly?
Yes, Dave Gross. I would mention it was basically Dave Gross and Tracy Martin, his wife's idea, and they're my neighbors, and we started talking about it, and it grew from there. And Dave has been on the EHNO board for just as long as I have.
I love it. Cheryl Michaels is the chair of the East Hardwick Neighborhood Organization. Cheryl, thanks so much for sharing what's happening in East Hardwick with us.
You're so welcome, Rick. Thanks for having me on.
Great to meet you. We're going to take a break and then return, and we're going to talk to Eric Remick. We're going to find out about the Yellow Barn in Hardwick. Coming up today at 11 on WDEV. Stay tuned for Common Sense Radio with Bill Sayre. This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV, live from the Scale House in Hardwick.
Rob tried to manage his constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating day after day. After realizing it was irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C, he found another way and finally said yes to adding Linzess.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Talk to a doctor today. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by AbbVie and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
The Warren 4th of July Parade is ready to kick off with unpredictable grand style in Warren Village on Monday, July 4th. The parade steps off at 10 a.m. with the theme Liberty. Live music and street dance at the Warren store to follow, along with free kids activities and more live music at Warren Elementary School. Listen live on WDEV or watch live on MRVTV.com. A full schedule is found at WarrenFourthofJuly.com.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Vermont Army National Guard. Aired by the Vermont Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Join me, John Batchelor, weeknights at 9 for Eye on the World. I'll offer insight into breaking news, current events, global politics, economics, science, and literature. If you seek to understand the news of our nation, world, and even outer space, tune in weeknights from 9 to 1 for Eye on the World right here on Vermont's news station, WDEV AM and FM. And streaming at WDEVradio.com.
How well does your garden grow? Tune in Saturdays at 12:30 for In the Garden with Peter Burke. Peter and co-host Joel Nashman give you one full hour of the latest news, helpful tips, and your calls to talk about what's happening in your garden. It's brought to you in part by P&R Lumber, Route 15 Wolcott, family milled lumber for all projects. In the Garden with Peter Burke, live Saturdays at 12:30. Hear the podcast anytime at WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back to the Scale House in Hardwick, which is open for business right now, as is Vermont Viewpoint. Now it's time to talk about business development in Hardwick, and for that we turn to Eric Remick, who is the town's select board chair. He's also a member of the Hardwick Yellow Barn core project team. Eric, great to have you on the show this morning.
Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've been pumping you up for about an hour now, getting people really excited for your interviews.
Because I was late.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, what is the Hardwick Yellow Barn?
Okay, so the physical Yellow Barn is indeed an old yellow barn.
Right there on Route 15.
Right there, the gateway to Hardwick in the Northeast Kingdom.
Yep.
For many years, I think 40 years, housed the Greensboro Garage in Hardwick.
Right.
Yep, so a lot of people may know it from buying cars, getting cars serviced there with Tim Nisbet. It was an institution.
Right.
Yeah, and so when Tim was getting ready to retire, he was looking for a good way to transition this property on, and so the town, in cooperation with the Center for the Agricultural Economy, came in together in a partnership and developed this vision for a business accelerator space. So we have a small industrial park, we have the Vermont Food Venture Center,
right?
And the idea was, how do we create a little more space for businesses to grow and thrive in Hardwick?
And let's explain what a business accelerator space is.
Yeah, so just generally, we're just talking about a space where businesses can grow and expand and not be limited by the space constraints that they may have here in the greater Hardwick area.
So what kind of business would be perfect for the Yellow Barn?
So Hardwick has been establishing sort of an agricultural
reputation,
for years and years, right? Like going back centuries probably, but recently, like, we've been leaning on that agricultural brand or reputation.
Right.
So so businesses moving into this Yellow Barn Business Accelerator are agriculturally tied.
Mm-hmm.
So in the barn itself, when that's fully renovated, we're working with Cabot Creamery to have a Cabot store in there that'll be a public space. So you roll into Hardwick, you have this beautiful renovated yellow barn, and there's going to be a Cabot store in there. So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
Backs right up on the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail. So it's just a nice little confluence of things there.
Yep.
And do you want me to just keep talking?
I do. I love
right.
where you're going with this, so keep going.
So the property is actually a 4-acre property, and the barn doesn't take up the whole thing.
Right.
So we have plans to build another building sort of adjacent to the barn that is more of a business accelerator, and that is right now, the plan is to have that house some expansion room for Jasper Hill Farm for their cheese.
Nice.
And the Center for Agricultural Economy has a couple programs, Just Cut and Farm Connects, that deal with local produce and getting them, and local food products, and getting them moved around the state. And so this is the Business Accelerator project is actually going to allow both Jasper Hill and CAE's programs to expand. This is going to be touching more than 100 local farms.
Wow.
In a positive way. So we're really excited about it, and it's going to be all happening right here.
And where are we now? Funding-wise, timeline-wise? Give us an update on that.
Yeah. So where we are right now is we are in the midst of a redesign because we had a project all designed. We went out to bid in March, and the bids came back substantially higher than our budget, as is the case with a lot of projects, not just here but around the country right now, right?
Yeah.
So what we're doing right now is scaling the project to a point where we think it's going to fit in our budget, and we're really moving as quickly as we can to get this out to bid and under construction this year, which is quite a push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it would be
open for occupancy in a year, approximately.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. It is really exciting.
You got to love that, Eric. Okay. How about any other projects that you want to talk about in addition to the Yellow Barn?
So have you talked about the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail coming through
Hardwick?
A little bit,
but keep talking about it.
Yeah, so
it's amazing what's happening with
huge project there. Vast led the charge on that more than 12 years ago. Got about a third of the trail built. It's a 93-mile corridor from St. Jay over to Swanton. A lot of it comes through Hardwick and comes right near our downtown. And so we're working on ways to connect folks from that trail down to our downtown. Yeah. As I said, it goes right by the Yellow Barn, so that's a nice feature.
Yeah.
And so I'm turning around and looking out the window.
You got the headset.
I got the headset. I can look out the window, and right through that window is a closed pedestrian bridge that we call the Swinging Bridge. Another project is to get that renovated, and then we're going to form a bike pedestrian corridor between that and the rail trail.
Brilliant.
Yep. A new park on the other side of that bridge that'll have some nice river access, we hope, in the end. And so a lot of exciting stuff.
Plus, there's parking there for people who want to come to downtown.
Yes.
They'd be able to come right back across the pedestrian bridge. Right now, have to kind of do a circuitous route to get to downtown, right?
From there, Yep. And so that we lost some parking, essentially, when we lost the use of that bridge.
Yeah. All right. And, I mean, how important are things like the Yellow Barn as an economic driver to this community?
Yeah, so pretty important. So we're talking about something on the order of 25 to 30 new jobs that are going to be created as part of that project right there. Plus which, in a community of 3,000 people, that's quite a lot of economic activity, just having that many jobs created. Plus the support that those functions that are happening in that project are going to provide to local farms, up-and-coming and established farms.
Have you determined a number for economic impact, which is usually this times, about 2 to 3?
Yes. We have. We've had some what's called Remick modeling.
It's my favorite question. I love talking economic impact.
Yes, and unfortunately I don't remember the numbers. But it's huge.
Yeah.
I remember that it's huge.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the numbers.
Okay.
So,
and in a year that'll all, be on the move. What about the paving project downtown?
Yeah, paving project is great. So this is a regularly scheduled repave by VTrans because the main corridors coming through Hardwick happen to be state routes, Vermont 14, 15, and 16, actually.
That's
right. But yeah, so the state has been great. They reached out to us when the project started, got us tied in with the engineers when they were creating the plans. So we're getting all repaved, improved crosswalks, improved walkability, I think, from this project.
I know there's work going on, but driving through Hardwick the last few times, I've really not been inconvenienced at all. It seems you might notice it, I guess, if you're here on a regular basis, but someone coming into town, you're just coming into a town, you're still able to move through pretty quickly, without much of any inconvenience.
So one of the things that came up early in the discussions, the planning phase, was, we have this little main street that we're sitting right on here at the Scale House, and that's a bottleneck if that's not open and flowing.
Right.
And so they said, what do you guys think about us doing the work at night? And we said, well, that sounds like a good idea. So they've strategically done a lot of work at night in order to minimize the impacts on traffic during the day.
Kudos to VTrans.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I spoke with Opie, the town manager, Dave Upson, earlier. We discussed the pedestrian bridge, and you talked about it, too. Where do you see that on the list of priorities for the town?
I think that comes pretty darn high.
Yeah.
Right now because of the parking issue that you mentioned. So parking is can be a little bit tight, especially when like dinner hours on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, and so that opens up some more parking, and it also, because it's going to form this connector to the rail trail, and we want to have bikes have easy access in the summer. I think that it's very important.
Yeah. When you remove one excuse or blockade, and makes it that much easier. I think about it when I go somewhere, like how easy is it going to be to find parking to get to where I want to go.
Yeah.
It's very convenient.
And
when that reopens.
And there's this weird phenomenon that I think we all have as people where, if you drive into like a Walmart parking lot, well, you're in the parking lot. You may have to walk half a mile to get to the store, but you think you're in the parking lot.
That's right.
You roll into a downtown, you expect to park right in front of the door you want to walk into.
Yeah.
It's a whole different mentality. And so you have to create like visually appealing and what appears to be easy access, even though it's closer than somebody may park in a supermarket or a Walmart parking lot.
Yeah. We got a minute left. Future, projects that you're hoping, to help this town?
Yeah, so we've got lots of stuff.
Of course.
We've got so we need a new town highway garage. So that's definitely in the development phase. We need to work with various partners to try to promote more housing, probably, especially low, moderate income housing, but and senior housing. We have a good through Lamoille Housing Partnership. We have a good stock of that housing, but we could use more. So
I'm amazed that towns in Vermont, this size, 1,000 people, are able to do as much as they do. It's really incredible. So Eric Remick is the chair of the Hardwick Select Board. You can learn more about the Hardwick Yellow Barn Business Accelerator by going to nvda.net. Eric, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
It's been great.
All right, we're going to take a break where are we? For CBS News, we'll get an update, and then come back to the Scale House in Hardwick, which is now open, and we're going to hear about the iconic Hardwick Gazette. And a reminder that coming up tonight at 6:07, our coverage of Game 2 of the series between the Red Sox and Blue Jays gets started, and the first pitch in Toronto will be at 7:07. This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV.
CBS News Brief. A top aide in the Trump White House scheduled to testify at lawmakers' surprise hearing today in their January 6th investigation. CBS's Scott McFarland says Cassidy Hutchinson was a member of the former president's inner circle.
Hutchinson is heard telling the committee in her deposition that Republican members of Congress were seeking, in some cases, pardons after January 6th.
A hospital in San Antonio confirms 2 more migrants have died after nearly 50 bodies were found inside the back of an airtight semi-truck. Ken's TV's Matt Houston.
We know that 3 people are in custody that police believe are connected to all of this. Chief William McManus with San Antonio Police tells us he believes there could be more people out in the woods.
NTSB investigators expected to arrive at the site of a deadly Amtrak crash in rural Missouri in about a half an hour. 3 people were killed when the train hit a dump truck, derailed, and flipped. CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
The WDEV studio is sponsored by Sticks and Stuff and Swanton Lumber, Vermont's largest independent home center, powered by Marvin Doors and Windows. Go to sticksandstuff.com for store locations and hours.
WDEV takes you to the Warren 4th of July parade on Monday, July 4th. Brent Curtis will be in Warren Village giving listeners the play-by-play of Warren's unique array of floats and fun. Tune in Monday starting at 10 on WDEV AM and FM.
Folks, Dan Keene here at Lamoille Valley Ford, where we're still ordering for less. Tell them, kid.
That's right, Dan. Business is cranking here at Lamoille Valley Ford, and we're retail ordering new vehicles for less. Although the factories are going through model year changeovers, we are still accepting orders for the entire Ford lineup of Ford trucks and SUVs. Not only will our customers be at the front of the line when the new models roll out, but they'll be paying less at Lamoille Valley Ford too, and here's why. Right now, when you order your new Ford with us, Lamoille Valley Ford will take an additional $1,000 off MSRP, and that's on top of factory incentives and huge trade allowances. And speaking of trades, I want you to know our lot is jam-packed with more clean, late-model pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs than ever, and we're making deals to sell them down. And remember this, if you need a vehicle today, at Lamoille Valley Ford, we have the largest stock of new Fords in Vermont.
Woo! So drive Route 14, 15, or 16 to Hardwick, where you can order your new Ford for less at Lamoille Valley Ford.
The Vermont State Colleges are the Community College of Vermont, Castleton University, Northern Vermont University, and Vermont Technical College. We exist for the benefit of Vermont. We provide diverse college experiences for Vermont students and the qualified workforce needed to grow the state's economy. We are your Vermont State Colleges. Vermonters have access to quality higher education no matter where they live. With locations within 25 miles of most households as well as online, our state colleges are accessible to everyone. 83% of our students are Vermonters. They come to us for personal growth, career training, and better job opportunities. 2/3 of our graduates continue to live and work in Vermont, and our programs align with Vermont's workforce needs. Our students go on to provide health care, create new businesses, educate our children, design and engineer solutions in new technology, and more. These are the professionals that create a dynamic community and a thriving economy. Look to your Vermont State Colleges to drive Vermont's future at yourfuture.vsc.edu.
And it's swung on it high to right center field. Back deep goes Judge to the wall. It's gone. A home run. Bobby Dahlbeck puts the Red Sox back ahead with his first home run of the year.
Red Sox baseball all season long on WDEV is brought to you by Berry Electric and Lighting Supply, Lenny Shoe and Apparel, Matt Clark's Northern Basement Systems, Packard Fuels, and the Waterbury Service Center. Your home for Boston Red Sox baseball is WDEV.
Welcome back to Vermont Viewpoint, and welcome back to the Scale House in Hardwick, where we're broadcasting live this morning. This is part of WDEV's 90th anniversary celebration, but we have to give a tip of our cap to the Hardwick Gazette, which started publishing in 1889, 42 years before we went on the air. Of those 133 years, Ross Connolly served as the paper's editor and co-publisher, I think, for 31 years. He joins us now to talk about the Gazette and the town he covered for all these years. Ross, welcome to Vermont Viewpoint.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. Give us a brief history of the paper.
Well, brief history of 100 and some years. As you say, it was founded in 1889. When my late wife and I bought it in 1986, I think we were the 6th or 7th owners. And so we had it from 1986. She died in 2011, and then I was able to sell it in 2017. And it was a tremendous privilege and opportunity, life we led running the paper for that time with some terrific reporters and other people who helped put the paper out each week, and of course the readers in Hardwick and the 9 surrounding towns that we covered. Was I look back, and it was just an experience that I was privileged to have and be a part of.
Had you and your wife been in the newspaper business before that?
I was. She was a graphic artist by training, and I had been an editor of a weekly on Cape Cod, and then prior to that I had worked as a columnist for a small daily in Holyoke, Massachusetts. I started my career as a journalist, as a sports writer for a small daily north of Boston, and prior to that I had been a variety of professions, social services, administration, and management. I had been a graduate student. I had taught while a graduate student at the university as well as a state prison. worked construction, did all sorts of things between college and getting started.
Right.
So I was late coming to journalism, but it was took a while, but it was the right place to be.
Yeah, it sounds it. And then how had the newspaper business, especially for a small town local paper, changed in the time that you were at the Gazette over 3 decades?
Well, the paper was really important to the people here, and I think that grew in the time that we had it. Economically, it grew harder to generate the advertising because of social media, just competition with that. But I never sensed that the paper wasn't important to people.
Yeah.
And when I held the essay contest to try to transition out of it, I don't have a specific number, but many people would say, we hope you find a good person to transition to.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was finally, the contest didn't work, but when I was able to sell the paper, people would say, well, we're happy for you, but we're also happy the paper's going to continue.
Yeah, that's got to be gratifying to see it continue. What was your favorite part of the job of running the Gazette?
I don't know. I mean, it was being a part of the community, having a kind of a aerial view of, if you will, of the community, being able to bring stories to the readers, working with some really terrific people. I don't know, just all those things came together, and so there wasn't any one specific element that I would point to that as the high point or the part of it.
Right.
It was just very all-encompassing.
Well, one thing that's happening in the community right now is an exhibit of yours called Protest. It's at the Whitewater Gallery in East Hardwick. Tell us about that.
Well, I was an undergraduate in Washington, D.C. in the 1960s, and I was a political science major, but I had finished almost all of my courses for the major by the end of my junior year. So my senior year, I took a number of photography, film, and television courses, and in one of those courses, it was a film course, the instructor said that he had been contacted by a person from West German television and was over in the United States to cover the Pentagon March, which was in October 1967, and he wanted a grip, that is somebody to carry extra film canisters, lenses, whatever for his cameras, and was anybody in the class interested? And I raised my hand, and I don't know if other students did, but so I got to spend the entire day with that journalist from Germany, and that was quite an experience. I mean, having a press pass, we were able to have pretty free range of interaction, and there'd been a lot of lead-up. Of course, that wasn't the first anti-Vietnam protest. There had been many in Washington, D.C., in New York, San Francisco, other parts of the country. But I spent that day, as I say, with the journalist and took my camera along, my 35 millimeter still photography film camera, and took a bunch of photos. And I printed up some of the photos, I don't know, less than 10 probably, for a photography class I was in, but looked at the negatives and knew that I had some things there. I graduated the next spring and got a job. I had a photography apprenticeship during the day and worked as a waiter in a bar in the evenings to support myself.
Sure.
And I continued photography, but I didn't have access to a darkroom, no longer being on campus. So I had these rolls of negatives, and I didn't just shoot that. But shot many events and whatever. And so just over the years, I accumulated many rolls of film, black and white and color, always thinking someday I will get to that. And when Susan and I bought the Gazette, it was like, oh, there's a dark room here. Gee whiz, this is great. But, of course, I never had a chance or never had the time to make use of the dark room. We had other people who developed and printed photos for the newspaper. So after I retired, I thought about it and bought a negative scanner. And about a year and a half ago, I started scanning the negatives from these, particularly the 67 March, and just to see what was there. And I liked some of the photos that I found, and made some prints and showed them to James Teuscher, who owns the Whitewater Gallery, and said, would you be interested in letting me have an exhibit, a show of these and some others? There was a 5-day demonstration at Howard where they closed down the university. That's where I was a student, and I shot photos of that. And then that was in March 1968, and then in April 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, and rebellions broke out in D.C. and in cities all across the country, and troops were sent into Washington, and so they were around where I was living, and I took photos of them, and then there was another march, the Vietnam Moratorium March in November 1969, and I took many photos of that. So I had these 4 different but many ways related events, and so I started printing them and came up with over 50 that I decided, well, let me put these in the show. And so I matted and framed them and went out and hung them at the gallery at the end of May, and the show opened June 5th. And so the gallery is open every Sunday from 11 to 3. We're having a reception on the 10th, Sunday afternoon, and I'm free and James is free to show the exhibit to people that Sundays don't work and they would prefer a different time, so they just get in touch with us. So it's been going on and getting good reaction from the people that have come.
Stunning photography. It's protest. It's at the Whitewater Gallery in East Hardwick. Ross, had I known that you were a grip, I would have had you help our guy Stephen Tansey here, who's recording this.
Right, I think I still have those skills.
Good. Ross Connolly was the editor and co-publisher of the Hardwick Gazette from 1986 to 2017. Ross, it's been great catching up with you this morning.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks a lot. One more break, and then we're going to bring back Sky and Michael, the Scale House in Hardwick, where we're broadcasting live. They are open now. This is Vermont Viewpoint on WDEV.
WDEV at 90 is brought to you in part by New England Municipal Resource Center, NEMRIC, with a belief that local businesses like WDEV build strong communities.
Up your grilling game with WDEV and Mackenzie Country Classics. Every Friday afternoon this summer, we're giving away the ultimate grilling package from Mackenzie Country Classics. Tune into the getaway each Friday between 1 and 4 and be the 5th caller when you hear the Mackenzie Country Classics theme song.
Old John Mackenzie was a dedicated man, made the best pork sausage in all the land. John told his boys, both clear and loud, carry on the name and do me proud.
The ultimate grilling package includes 1 package each of natural casing franks, grilling kielbasa, sweet Italian sausage, Switchbrats, thick-cut bacon, all beef deli franks, and alfresco chicken sausage. So be listening for the Mackenzie theme song.
Old John Mackenzie was a dedicated man, made the best pork sausage in all the land. John told his boys, both clear and loud, carry on the name and do me proud.
Call in Friday afternoons during the getaway to win the ultimate grilling package from Mackenzie Country Classics and WDEV.
As we broadcast live from legendary Maple and Ice Cream in Williamstown. Stop by Saturday between 2 and 4 to try out some new flavors, including vegan and dairy-free options. WDEV at legendary Maple and Ice Cream next to the Pumpkin Pantry in Williamstown this Saturday from 2 to 4.
The heart is the hardest working muscle in the human body. I'm Nadia Fletcher, the cardiac nurse practitioner at Copley Hospital. Today, I want to talk about the importance of a healthy heart. When your heart is not working at its best, you're not feeling your best. Signs of potential heart problems can include chest discomfort and shortness of breath. You should see your doctor if you're experiencing these symptoms, as they can be caused by heart disease. If your doctor refers you to Copley's Cardiology Clinic, you'll be seen by either myself or our cardiologist, Dr. Adam Cunin. We will assess your condition and determine the next step. This may include a heart monitor, an echocardiogram, or a stress test. Although some heart problems are hereditary or related to aging, many are the result of lifestyle choices. It's never too late to make lifestyle changes that will help improve the health of your heart. These changes may include eating healthy, regular exercise, weight loss, stress management, and quitting smoking. For more information on cardiology services at Copley, call 802-888-8372 or visit copleyvt.org.
Hi, this is Anson Tebbets, co-host of For the Birds, heard Saturdays on WDEV. Each week, Chip Darmstadt and I discuss bird sightings, bird counts, and activity at your feeder. You also can listen anytime to podcasts on Apple, Google, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Join us Saturdays at 7:30 and 12:15 for the Birds. 28 years on WDEV AM and FM and streaming at WDEVradio.com.
Attention bargain hunters. Check out the new additions to the WDEV online marketplace. Right now, golf passes to Northfield Country Club are $30 and Montague Golf Course in Randolph are $40. That's for 18 holes with a cart. Or, if fishing's your thing, get a catamount fishing half-day fly fishing trip for just $250. There's deals on food, too. $50 gift certificates to Ranch Camp or the Backyard and Stowe are just $30. Find all the current deals at WDEVradio.com.
Welcome back to Vermont Viewpoint and to the Scale House in Hardwick. We've had a wonderful morning getting to know Hardwick, its history, its business, its people. Now it's time to check back in with our hosts from the Scale House. We have Sky Plocic and Michael Walbridge. Sky and Michael, welcome back to the show. You ready to host the show, Sky?
Oh, I guess so.
This is your first time on radio or not?
Yes.
And so what do you think? Is it everything you've ever thought it would be?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Michael, give people, again, an idea of what they'll find here at the Scale House when they come in.
So we have our full draft list, which includes 27, mostly local, not entirely. We do have some of your main staples, your Budweisers, your Bud Lights, but a lot of it's regional. We do some stuff from Maine. Sky could probably hit on more particular ones and where they're from. And then, of course, we have our full food menu, steak, seafood, bistro. We're going to get into some more specials after 4th of July. We are releasing a new menu on the 6th of July, I believe, is that Wednesday. And that will include shellfish on the weekends, still the fish and chips, the things that are staples we stay in. The blackened salmon with the goat cheese mashed potatoes is one of our most popular plates that we sell. I wanted to take it off last fall, and I knew I was going to give myself a headache if I did, because everybody would be coming in and going, "Hey, where's my salmon?"
I think I would have marched to Hardwick to make you stop from taking that off the menu.
So no, that's probably one of our most popular plates. We are starting to do more with steaks. This week we'll be offering a porterhouse, which we also did last week. We have a New York strip on the menu all the time, full-time staple plate. And other than that, we're always open to suggestions, and, we have live music on Wednesday nights with Kelly Raven of the Jaded Ravens.
Oh, yeah.
He also plays down the street at Front Porch on Sundays, or Front Seat, rather. And then we have Barry Hayes on Saturday nights, pretty much religiously, and he likes to do the Hardwick Farmers Market, which happens Friday afternoon, I believe.
Front Seat Coffee provides the beautiful croissants this morning that you've had here at the restaurant. Now, Sky, there's a couple things I want to talk about this beer list. First of all, there's 27 listed there. I see there's still 3 more slots. Is there still room for more yet? You can go all the way to 30?
Yeah, but we're definitely going to get back to filling those slots this summer. We kind of narrowed it down a little bit more during the winter just so that we were going through enough product so things weren't sitting on the lines. But now that, business is picking up and we're going through beer faster, we'll definitely fill those spots back up.
Now, number 20 is from Citizen Cider. It's the Dirty Mayor.
Yeah.
You know that's named after me, right? That's why you have it up there. It is true.
Really?
Oh, yes. I'll tell you the story after the show is over. But, yeah, that's me up there. Number 20. Thank you. It's a very prominent spot. And so what are some of the great cocktails that you and your staff like to mix up for people here?
So on our menu right now that we just revised for the summer, we do have a take on a bee's knees with the Bar Hill Gin that we add some elderflower liqueur to, and that's one of our most popular cocktails. We just added a dilly bean martini as well with house-made dilly beans, and that's been going very well.
Oh, my goodness. I love the dilly bean. I never thought of it in a martini, but it makes so much sense. You throw an olive in there, why not a dilly bean?
Yeah,
right?
and they'd probably go good in the Bloody Mary as well.
Oh,
actually,
yep.
We didn't think about that a minute ago when we made that. But
throw another one in there. All right. And Michael, so tell us about the hours you're open, the hours you're expanding for the summer. Tell us about that.
Sure. So for right now, our hours are going to remain as seasonal hours.
Yep.
And so currently on the weekends, it's Saturday we open at 3, Sundays we open at noon, close at 7 on Sundays. That will be going until at least 8, if not 9, going into the summer. One thing that kind of dictates dinner hour in a restaurant is sunset. And a lot of people that haven't been in this business don't realize that, you might come in at 4 o'clock for a 4 o'clock shift and not see anybody till 6:30 just because the day's still nice.
Right.
And that changes when it rains a little bit, of course. But and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we open at 4 o'clock. We're here till 9. Summer hours, we're trying to do Wednesday. Well, let me rephrase that. Friday through Monday, 12 to 9:30. If we're really jamming at 9:30 on the weekends, we're going to keep it open till 10. Bar hours will stay open as needed every night of the week. We are talking about getting some handhelds. We're actually toying with doing Lunchables or something for after dinner service for something we can just pitch to somebody for a snack at 10 o'clock and probably not get too many complaints about it.
Right.
So the expanded hours, we're here. We're trying to stay closed on Tuesday. We're trying to add Mondays lunch and dinner because most of the other establishments in town are not able to be open on those days, or that's the day they allow for themselves. We'll be remaining closed on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Now, Sky, I've asked a lot of people this morning about downtown Hardwick, what they enjoy about it, what people should know about it. What do you think? What's your opinion of downtown Hardwick?
So I honestly hadn't spent much time in Hardwick until I began working here. But I just think, we do get a lot of foot traffic in the area, and especially with, we've got the bookstore next door and the Whistle Emporium, and then there's, Connie's Kitchen, and so there's all these little things in the coffee shop that people are, walking around because there's things to do.
Yeah, you could start with coffee down the street. You could go in and get gifts. You can buy some books and then be in here for lunch or dinner. And you haven't even gotten to the rest of downtown.
Exactly.
And you've had a great experience in downtown Hardwick. Yeah, pretty cool. Michael, what is it you've enjoyed since being in charge here? August of last year, sometime about then?
Yep, August of last year. So I told you this. I don't think I mentioned it I'd worked here previously, and we kind of had a rough go of it with kind of having too many visions of how there was no vision. Let's put it that way of how we were going to have any philosophy about what the place was going to become. So for me, what I've enjoyed most is that bringing in people that I'd worked with elsewhere or that I've known from another walk of life has been really rewarding. Including Sky, yeah. She and I worked over at the Burke Public House together in the kitchen, and now she came on here and she acquired a palate for being able to put together this beer list and also recognize what our clientele likes to drink for, cocktails. And so what I think we both find most rewarding is being the host and having the interaction with the guests. We have a couple that comes in from Northfield all the time, and every day for the 30 days I was changing my mind this spring, somebody like that couple would come in and say, this is such and such, and this is an experience we come here for. And it was like, so it's more the host atmosphere of it than, the rest of it's good. I'm a kitchen guy by trade. I grew up on a dairy farm. I remember delivering syrup with my grandfather as a little boy, and everywhere we stopped, he loved. They all loved to talk to him. They all just wanted to spend 10 more minutes with him, And for me, that was the case for me, obviously, my grandfather. And so now I'm in this situation where I'm the host. And, we tandem each other. She and I kind of have a brother-sister relationship, and it's been really good because we both make the same decision on what the issue is,
Right.
And every now and again we get into something where it's a little hard. But for the most part, it's being the host and being able to, share a philosophy on customer service.
I love it. That's Michael Walbridge, also speaking with Sky Plocic. I want to thank you both for opening the restaurant to us and to our guests and to everyone today. The Scale House will be open until 2 today, and you can check out the menu on their Facebook page. Thanks for having us.
You're very welcome. Glad to have you.
Rick.
You're welcome. All right, that is our show for today. Vermont Viewpoint is directed by Danny McGivrigan, and we had special technical help this morning from Stephen Tanzi, who once again did not get interviewed on this show. You can listen to past episodes of Vermont Viewpoint by downloading our podcast at WDEVradio.com. Common Sense Radio with Bill Sayre is up next. I'm Rick Singari. I'm going to take a wee break from the show for a week, so please enjoy our guest hosts, Governor Jim Douglas, Lisa Scalotti, and Pat McDonald.